Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Take Two podcast. We are the Frame Brothers. I am Jameson Frame, followed by my brother Reed Frame here with us today. We're going to be diving back into kind of the free flowing form that we had last week. We'll touch base back on the Cowboys like we broke off. There's still no update from last week, kind of where we left off. We talked about, CeeDee Lamb's contract negotiations, Dak Prescott's contract negotiations, Micah Parsons' contract negotiations, what Jerry Jeudy has in mind, what he's doing with this team.
Jerry Jones.
What did I say?
You said Jerry Judy.
Ooh, maybe he has an opinion on it too.
Yeah, he might.
Um, yeah, Brandon Ayuk trade still hasn't gone through. However, that
Yeah, Brandon Ayuk.
eliminate the
So
the
Brandon
Patriots like we
Ayuk,
thought.
Brandon Ayuk trade. So the Patriot, what I've heard at least, I've this has been a wild thing. So I heard the Patriots were out. He didn't want to go to the Patriots, and then I heard the Patriots were back in, and now I heard the Patriots are out again.
So from what I've heard, is he doesn't want to go to the Patriots because he doesn't have a winning team. So he wants to get paid like the Patriots want to pay him, but he wants to go to a team that's going to compete. Like we said last week, you can't get both. You either get to compete or you get paid, and you're on a bad team. That's just how it works. So it sounds like the Browns don't have, or he doesn't want to go to the Browns, and
He
now
wants to go to the Steelers,
Steelers.
is what I've heard.
Yeah, the
I've heard he
Steelers
wants
are
to go
the
to the
front
Steelers.
runner. But the problem that I've heard with the Steelers is their trade package doesn't include a wide receiver in return, which is something the 49ers are really high on. They want a receiver in return. They wanted Amari Cooper. They wanted Kendrick Bourne, I think, from the Patriots. So if they don't get a receiver back, the 49ers are going to have to go out and get a receiver they think is of starting caliber, a wide receiver three, maybe a four that they can turn into a three, that kind of thing. It doesn't sound like the Steelers have that to offer, especially their wide receiver core is pretty low. So they don't love the idea of trading Brandon Ayuk there, and it sounds like they want to get a deal done, but they do also have a limit of how much they're willing to pay him. So it's kind of just a hold up between Ayuk making a decision. Hey, here are the two options. We'll make it work. We want you to stay, but we need you to come down to this number.
Yeah, I agree. Taking a fantasy outlook, I'm always taking fantasy outlooks. I feel like I'm kind of a fantasy guy. Um,
It's
but
fun.
fantasy outlook, I'm wanting Brandon Ayuk to go to the Patriots. That's my number one spot for Brandon Ayuk, right? There's
It doesn't sound like he's going there anymore though.
He's
So
not going there though. I don't think he's going there. I hope he does. That's where I want him to go. I don't think he will.
just targets or what?
He's the best guy there. He's got to be getting targets. He's
He's
going to
good.
be
Yeah.
used a lot. He's the
Yep.
star on that. Yeah. Another thing I want to touch on the Patriots, but we'll get to that later. But second option, I'd want him to go to the Browns. The Browns, they're kind of iffy. They're wide receivers. You got Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy. They're iffy, right? The last spot I want him to go is the Steelers, and I think he's going to end up on the Steelers. That not only does Brandon Ayuk get less snaps, it also takes away from George Pickens' not snaps, targets. Brandon Ayuk is going to be taking George Pickens' targets away. And I don't, I'm a big fan of George Pickens. I have him on my team, and I don't want him taking away George Pickens' targets. So,
I've changed my opinion. I think Brandon Ayuk stays on the 49ers at this point. I think if he
ooh.
wanted to be traded, he would have already been traded. I
Mm-hmm.
think he figured it out that, you know what, I'll take $5-10 million less for the next 4 years and have, make a run of the Super Bowl for the next 4 years. And then after that, if it's still not working out, I can go get another payday because he's still under 30 at that point. So he's still able to go get paid again. I think that's what happens in my opinion.
I could see that.
He
Knowing
should do. That's what he should do.
knowing the just what has the gone on in wide receivers history, I think Brandon Ayuk is gonna chase the bag, right? I think that's what we're seeing is players just want money now, and I think that's what Brandon Ayuk's gonna do. He's just gonna go chase that bag.
Very likely.
I think that's the most likely. I could see him staying with the 49ers. If he values championships, he's in probably the best spot. I wouldn't say the best, one of the best spots in the league if you want to make a Super Bowl run. 49ers are a powerhouse.
Yep.
But if he is wanting to chase the bag, he is not going to stay in the 49ers.
No, I get it. I mean, those are the two options, right? Chase the bag or make Super Bowl runs. I think he'll come to his senses. He'll talk to his agent and that he'll stay with the 49ers. So
I
that's
could see it.
until we hear more. I mean, that's kind of is what it is. I'm hoping we hear something by the next podcast because honestly, it's kind of getting drawn out and annoying to hear about all the time. So
Yeah, yeah. To the Cowboys, we said we were going to touch on the Cowboys. We really didn't. I want you to give me two opinions. What would you do if you were the Cowboys GMs with these three contracts coming up, and what do you think they will do? So start with what you would do.
what I'm doing is I'm paying Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb. I'm letting Dak walk. I can. He's a good quarterback, an above average quarterback. Some people can argue he's better than that. Not me. He's going to win you games in the regular season. He hasn't proved he can win games in postseason. I can't get behind paying somebody the highest paid quarterback in the NFL if you can't win playoff games. We had this discussion about why these people are just continuously to get paid to the next highest level. I don't love it. I say you restart the quarterback clock. This next offseason, either you get a Sam Darnold after he proves himself on the Vikings. We'll get to that a little later. Because I called it. I think Sam Darnold's gonna be better than a lot of people think this year. Or you go and you get a veteran like that in free agency, or you go and get a rookie and maybe a veteran, have him learn behind that guy for a year, and then he's be your your quarterback. Either way, you restart your quarterback clock contract wise. You pay CD and Micah to make up the difference because now you have that cash flow and you go about it that way. Now it might bite you in the butt. You might kind of take a step back with your team, but the Cowboys might be taking a step back this year regardless. But you need to lock up CD Lamb while you still can. The biggest thing that is yet to be out there is Jamar Chase and CD Lamb both have yet to sign their next contract. And one of them is just waiting for the other one to sign the next highest deal so that they can just top it by another mil or two. So if you're the first one to sign them, you're going to save yourself a couple $1 million. So why not sign them now? Be done with it.
Exactly. Yeah. I honestly agree. I know last week I said Micah Parsons over CeeDee Lamb, and I still stand by that. I think Micah Parsons is a better player overall than CeeDee Lamb. I completely agree with you with letting Dak walk. Um, Dak, I was never been a really big fan of Dak. Yeah, he's been able to win games. Yeah, he's throwing the ball, he's slinging it. He's got CeeDee Lamb out there to throw the ball to. Um, but I think you just it's time for Dak to be done in Dallas, right? Maybe he goes and finds another team to play for. Maybe he doesn't.
You will.
Who knows what's Dak's future? But I don't think Dak's future should be in Dallas. He's worth so much money that they just can't give it to him, or they shouldn't give it. They can give it to him. They shouldn't give it to him. He's not worth that much, in my opinion.
He's going to go to somewhere like the Jets. The Jets, the the Vikings would be something. Not that they have the cash flow and they already have JJ McCarthy. He got hurt, but I think I can't ever remember his name.
Evan
O'Connell.
O'Connell.
Is it Kevin
O'Connell.
O'Connell? Yeah, Kevin O'Connell is a good offensive minded coach, and he did wonders with Kirk Cousins. Dak Prescott is like essentially the same quarterback as Kirk Cousins, just a little more mobile. I mean, he could probably do wonders for him over there in Minnesota. Not that I expect that to happen. It was just kind of a thought that popped in my head of a cool situation that could.
Hmm.
But I don't envision. Well, okay, you asked me what my opinion would be, what I would do. I don't bring Dak back. But then you also asked me what I thought Jerry Judy was going to do.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones. Um, Dak Prescott will be a Cowboy.
Yeah,
He's
Jerry
going to.
Jones. Jerry Jones glazes Dak so much, dude. It's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's going to resign him, and it's going to be a ridiculously high number. I don't know why. Everybody's going to question. He already did it once. I mean, he already made Dak the highest paid once. He's going to do it again.
Yeah. Jerry Jones will sign
Jerry
Dak.
Judy, you almost said it.
I almost did. You're rubbing off on me. But I completely agree. I think Dak will stay a Cowboy. My question to you is I don't think they keep CD and Micah. Who do they
No,
keep and who do they leave? Who do they let walk and who do they keep?
they're going to let Micah walk. Not that they should. They're either going to franchise tag him and trade him, but CD Lamb wears number 88. Jerry Jones is a big fan of the history of his team. There are two other receivers in Cowboys history that wear number 88. I think he likes that legacy feel, the tradition of I've had, back to back to back 88 number receivers that have been really good. And I think he kind of lives for that kind of stuff, the history of it and the kind of the name of the Cowboys and you know what I mean? Like he's that
Yeah.
kind of guy. So I think he resigns Dak and CD and he lets Micah walk. And that's how I think happens.
I honestly agree with you 100%. As much as I think it's the complete wrong move, I think Micah Parsons is a generational talent, I would say. I think he's an amazing player, and you can't afford to let him walk. I hope he comes to the Seahawks. Micah Parsons, go Hawks, man! You'd be a great addition. I'd love you at the Seahawks. But we could probably
Byron
talk about
Murphy and Micah Parsons.
yeah, we could talk about Brian Murphy. Oh, dog. But Micah Parsons, his landing spot, if they let him walk, that'll definitely be a full podcast by itself, man. That could
Commanders.
we Commanders do pick up like just elite edge rushers and just randomly. I
Dan
swear.
Quinn. Dan Quinn had him.
Mm,
He's over at the Commanders
I
now. They go to
forgot
the
Dan Quinn is the head
Commanders.
coach.
Commanders go to the Super Bowl the next 3 years after that.
He
It
did
all
predict
kind of
that. He did predict that.
it all just kind of comes together.
Oh,
I I'm not gonna say I told you so because it's early, but I'm gonna tell you I told you so in 3 years from now or 2 years when it happens.
Dan Quinn. Oh, that's a good take. That is a very good take. I could see that happening.
Yeah, you heard it here
Micah,
first.
that team's looking scary if they had Micah Parsons.
Yep.
Jeez. All right. I think everyone's had enough of the Cowboys after last week and this week.
Yeah, I'm done talking about them.
Yeah. They're starting to think we're Cowboys fans.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I want to move to the Patriots. We are having a QB dilemma in the Patriots room, I think. Drake May versus Joe Milton. Joe Milton in his preseason game, he was fun to watch. I loved watching Joe
You,
Milton.
you watched that too?
Yeah, that was fun.
I got so hyped. It was like the drive after halftime. I'm like, all right, it's Joe Milton time. And then Drake May comes back out and I was like, no, you got to be kidding me.
It was a punt fest.
Oh, it was bad. And then Joe Milton comes in. The crowd is electric. He has that one play scrambling around in the backfield, breaks a couple tackles, and then he
Looks
gets.
like he's in college.
Oh, I was like, this is what it's all about. This is what we liked about the guy.
Yep. I think if Joe Milton keeps doing that all preseason and in training camp, give me Joe Milton over Drake May week 1.
The thing is, Jacoby Brissett's going to start week 1, so they're
I hope
fighting for
not. Give me Joe Milton, man. Give me Joe Milton. I want to watch Joe Milton light it up.
Jacoby Brissett will start week 1, no matter
I
what.
could see it realistically.
And Drake May, because he's the second overall pick, he's gonna be their starter at the end of the season. They're gonna run with Jacoby Brissett for the full year, most likely. If for some reason they see something they like, they'll bring Drake May in. The fans will start calling for Jacoby Brissett's head halfway through the season, like they do with all backup rookie quarterbacks. If they're a terrible team, Drake May will come in, everybody will cheer, and then he's gonna struggle, and they're gonna be like, "Is this really the guy that we want?"
It's the Malik Willis type thing.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, they did the same thing with like Justin Fields. I think his rookie year, he didn't
Yep.
start right away. He came into the middle of the season, and then at the end of the season, they're like, "Okay, he doesn't look great." But what do you expect? He's a developmental quarterback.
I agree. Um, yeah, right. It happens. I feel like it happens every year. Drake May coming out of college, everyone knew he was a kind of a project. He
Yep,
was a very raw guy. Like he has the arm talent. They just didn't know like what to expect from him coming from what he came from UNC, right?
North Carolina.
North
Yeah,
Carolina. Yeah,
UNC.
UNC. UNC. Yeah, just that's not really a big school. You're not facing like the best of the best. So a lot of people didn't say you had the best competition. There was a lot of question marks with Drake May. Still went second overall. I wasn't the biggest fan of Drake May. I thought he was gonna be better than what he's sounding like he is right now. Um, Patriots, Jacoby Brissett comes in. I think Joe Milton will be the DTR of this year's preseason. Did
Ooh,
Dorian Thompson Robinson, I believe is his name. I only know him
yeah,
as DTR. He's the
backup for
Browns like
Brown. Yeah,
fourth string quarterback right now. I think it was last year. He lit it up in the preseason, and then he never got any playing time. He hasn't really seen the field since. And I honestly think Joe Milton might be the same way.
I like the pull. It was a good reach there. I like that. I'm higher on Milton than I was ever, or still
I'm
am in DTR.
I'm very high on both. I think DTR deserves a starting spot. I think if we gave DTR a chance, he would prove that he could honestly be a starting caliber QB in this league. And I think Joe Milton is the same way.
Joe Milton's got some time. He needs to develop. I could see him being at that point after this year. I don't want to see Joe Milton play this year. I think he has too much to learn, too much to work on. He was electric to watch in the preseason game. I hope he continues to be that way for the rest of preseason. But I would really like to see him sit behind Jacoby Brissett for a full year and then him get a fair shot at a real competition next year with Drake May without people holding the draft pick spot over both of their heads. You have all the expectations and the kind of the free handouts that you get with an early on draft pick. Like if you make mistakes, you're like, it's all right. You still got that talent that we saw in you because we drafted you so high.
If Joe
And I
Milton
want
makes one mistake, he's not like they're coming for his head.
that's my point. I just hope they get judged fairly, and I would love to see him have a fair competition against Drake May next season for the starting quarterback spot. And I could get behind Joe Milton if he develops, and I think he has better tools to win the job than Drake May does. Whether they both develop or one develops faster than the other is yet to be determined. Um, I think it'd be really cool.
I
Speaking of
agree.
backup quarterbacks that deserve a shot, Hendon Hooker
I agree
on
completely.
the Detroit Lions. That dude is a baller.
The only reason he didn't go high in the draft, I think, is because of his age. He was old coming out of the
His
draft
injury.
and the injury. Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, he's like 26 and this is his second year in the league, right? That's that sucks, right? That's literally what made him not come be a high draft pick, his injury and his age. But I always thought he was a baller. At Tennessee, he was insane at Tennessee. I Peyton Manning 2.0. If you guys didn't know, Peyton Manning also went to Tennessee. But but I think Hendon Hooker is one of the most underrated QBs in this league. And I think Jared Goff is once he starts to regress, you throw Hendon Hooker in there once he's like 28, fourth season in the NFL, and he's literally just your next Jared Goff.
Didn't Jared Goff just get a contract extension?
Wasn't it only for like 3 years
Yeah, but then Hendon Hooker's rookie contract's up.
at 29 years old?
I think he
That's
gets
insane.
traded.
That is so insane. I'm getting what you're saying, but just being 29 when your rookie contract's up, that's insane.
Yeah. Do we know offhand? Do we know who the third string is on the Lions? Is it someone who can play or is it some nobody?
Dude, I have no clue. But I'll look it up.
Yeah. Dude. So my thought process here, right, is Hendon Hooker. I think he could be NFL ready to play this year. I think he could be the Joshua Dobbs of the 2024 season. A team that's a quarterback needy team that's close to making a playoff run. They need a quarterback. They bring in Hendon Hooker. He could potentially be the guy. He could show it, and then he could potentially fight for a starting spot next year. You find out something? What do you got?
I have two. They have four guys right now.
Okay. Who do they got?
So they have Nate Sudfield, who I've never heard of.
Nope.
And then this is a little throwback. I actually kind of like this guy out of college, Jake Fromm.
He's still in the league?
He's still in the league.
Brutal.
I thought he was good out of college, and bro has not turned into anything.
Okay, so that changes my opinion slightly, only because the Lions aren't gonna try. They're a Super Bowl contending team, right? They're not gonna shoot.
Definitely.
They're not gonna shoot themselves in the foot by trading away a competent starting qualiber backup this year while they're making a push playoff run to send him to a team who's also competing for a playoff run. You know what I mean? If Jared Goff goes down, they have a quarterback who can come in and at least give him a chance.
I think Hendon
Versus if
Hooker
they
gives him a chance.
trade, that's what I mean. If they trade Hendon Hooker, all of a sudden their chance is gone. You know what I mean? If Jared Goff goes down, they don't have a competent backup that can run an offense worth anything. So that would
Yeah.
change my opinion. I could see maybe next offseason they trade him, but he's just going to wither away on that bench
Yeah,
with
waste of talent.
starting. Yeah, he's going to be starting Cal or play like a Tyrod Taylor. You know, I mean, he didn't get a chance to start for a long time, and he actually turned out to be a decent backup slash startable backup quarterback. I feel like we get on this tangent every week. We talk about a backup who's like He's like, all right, he could probably play, but he's still a back.
Yeah,
We
hey,
still like him.
it happens. It happens. All right, Hendon Hooker. I'm right now as you're thinking, I'm trying to think of where could Hendon Hooker end up. I can't. Give me a team you think he ends up on.
Jets.
You're saying Jets, like
I'm saying
for
potentially.
every
I'm saying
quarterback,
potentially.
man. You're saying Jets.
Well, think about Aaron Rodgers has what 1 to 2 years left, and they don't have a backup plan in place. Jordan
Jordan
Travis,
Travis.
we both like Jordan Travis. That's fine. But if he doesn't work out, they're just what out of a quarterback completely.
He's gonna work out.
Versus if if
All
if
right,
something happens to Aaron Rodgers, it's just a potential landing spot for a quarterback. Is all I'm saying. I'm spitballing.
you're right. But I'm just saying this right now. You people are saying the same thing about Jordan Love, right? If he doesn't work out, they're screwed in the quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, Jordan Love is insanely, I'm not going to say overhyped, but I'm going to say overhyped because I hate the Packers, is insanely overhyped. All right. Jordan Travis, well, how many years did Jordan Love sit behind Aaron Rodgers? Two, three?
3.
All right. Jordan Travis, I have Aaron Rodgers playing 2 more years, I think. Jordan Travis sits 2 more years, comes in, and I have him being the next Jordan Love. I am all in on Jordan Travis. I love Jordan Travis. I loved him in college at FSU. He was amazing at FSU. He had that injury. I was sad to see him go down. His draft stock tanked with that injury. He's sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, who I would say is easily a top 10 quarterback all time. You could say he's a top five quarterback all time. I could see you making that argument. Sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for 2 years, 3 years, no matter, I don't know how long Aaron Rodgers is going to stay. Jordan Travis comes in and he's going to ball.
So I think the best case scenario for Jordan Travis is literally Hendon Hooker's situation. They are literally in the same situation a year ago of what Hendon Hooker was. Coming off an injury, got drafted later because of it, has the potential to be a decent quarterback. He proved it in NCAA. He's coming into the NFL. He's going to sit a full year so he can recover, learn behind a veteran quarterback. Next year, he's going to get a chance to prove himself. So we're saying Jordan Travis at best, well, that's not necessarily true, right? He's on the same path as what Hendon Hooker is on right now.
He's just, all right. He's just younger.
True, agreed. Which is a benefit if he can put it all together. Hendon Hooker, I could see also going to the Raiders.
Saints is what I thought of. Saints.
Saints. If Derek Carr starts going downhill.
I think the Saints is where I think Hendon Hooker. I agree with the Raiders too. I'm trying to think of other teams. I think
Yeah,
Saints or Raiders are my. I think I agree with the Saints or the Raiders.
I would say
Maybe
the Vikings, but with the JJ McCarthy injury, he's going to be out a while. Sam Darnold's going to get a chance to play early on, but I don't think the Lions trade inside their own division, especially their backup quarterback who's probably going to play against them. I don't think they would do that, especially
I
this year.
completely agree.
That would be a potential landing spot, but you're talking Raiders, Vikings, Jets potentially.
Um, I was this might be a wild card. It completely depends upon how Baker plays this year, but the Bucks.
I was thinking it with just paying him.
It depends upon how Baker does this year. I think.
Yeah. Which I think is going to
Yeah.
be worse than last year.
What'd you say?
I think it's going to be worse than last year. I don't think Baker lives up to the same level of play that he had last year.
I completely agree. I think Baker looked like what he was supposed to look like out of college. I think Baker
Well,
looked good last year.
he had a couple good years in Cleveland. I mean, he took them to their first playoff win, was it? In how long? He
Yeah,
still didn't get enough credit for that.
that is true. You think he was the first overall pick, right? I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think first overall pick, and you're like, he's held on this pedestal, right? We saw it with Bryce Young. Your first overall pick, they're not going to be good. They're on the worst team, all right? Bryce
Yeah.
Young, people are coming for his head because he sucked. It's the worst team in the NFL.
Worst
That's
offensive
what.
line. Just
Yeah,
point blank period.
Bryce Young, quick overview. He deserves another shot. It's only his second year. Give him a chance. Baker Mayfield, he got a playoff win. He just isn't getting much love because he was the first overall pick. I bet if he was a third, second round pick, people would be like, hey, that was probably a pretty good pick. He got a few playoff wins. Now he's kind of trying to make a run for on the tail end of his career, trying to show that, hey, I still got it, trying to find a job, right?
Yep.
But him being that first overall pick, I think he just held that such a high expectation. Everyone's going to say, yeah, he's just a bust. I don't care. He has to win a Super Bowl for that to get off his name, I think.
Yeah, which I don't think he'll ever do. I don't
I
think
don't,
Baker has a Super Bowl winning quarterback play in him. I think he's very good at best quarterback play. He could get you to the playoffs, maybe winning a game or two, probably losing the NFC championship game. I kind of think that's his peak. He would have to have like a 49ers team around him with a good offensive coach to propel him into something like that. With a defensive minded coach, I don't think it could happen. I just don't think it's going to happen.
yeah, I agree completely. Yeah. I mean, Baker's probably the definition of an average QB. I think right up there with Jared Goff.
Yeah, Jared Goff, I would say Baker Mayfield's a step below Jared Goff. In my opinion, I mean, you're definitely in the same ballpark, same tier of quarterback for sure.
Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff.
Derek Carr would probably be somewhere in there with Baker. It would be my guess.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins probably up there with Jared Goff, kind of the slightly higher average team or average quarterback. But yeah, you're definitely in the right ballpark for sure.
There's a theme between all those guys.
Pocket passers.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the theme. That's the
Yeah,
theme.
yeah, that's
All
what I thought you
right.
were going.
All right.
So getting back to JJ McCarthy, we were talking about. Pretty gruesome injury.
Torn meniscus.
Or meniscus. Going to be out for a while. I didn't actually see a timetable sent
There
out.
isn't so with the meniscus, they have to wait until the surgery to see the recovery time. So I don't know when he's getting the surgery. I think it's like Thursday or Friday, I think I
Was
read.
it? Was it?
So after the surgery, they'll give him a time. He is for sure not playing week one. We know that for sure.
Yep.
That it's impossible to come back from a surgery and be playing week one from a torn meniscus, right? I don't care who you are, unless you're taking insane amount of steroids, you're not coming back from a torn meniscus by week one.
No.
Yeah.
He
So
needs to get on that Aaron Rodgers recovery period.
yeah, whatever Aaron Rodgers did, NFL better keep that silent. But um, so I know when we did our Vikings overview, I was kind of high. I'm not very high on JJ McCarthy, but I was higher on JJ McCarthy than I was on Sam Darnold, and we had a little disagreement saying who was going to start week one. Jameson did win that argument. It is not fair. Injury
Not the
should
way I
not
wanted to
count.
win it. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, he's injured. So Sam Darnold will be starting week one.
Given Sam Darnold the chance to prove what I believe he has left in the tank. We'll put it that way.
I think we just talked about this with Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold, high pick. High pick, and he's got to do something to get that off his name. He's held at such a high, what I could use, high pedestal that he's just kind of been bad. Has he made it to the playoffs once?
Has he made it to the playoffs? He's been on the Jets and the Panthers. No, he hasn't made the
He was
playoffs.
on the 49ers too, wasn't he?
Yeah, last year as a backup, he played like what, one half of a game.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that one stretch where he was on the Panthers where he was like leading the league in rushing touchdowns. Sam Darnold knew Cam Newton.
Listen, Sam Darnold's going to get in there week one, probably week two, week three. They're going to keep rolling with him just to make sure JJ Healthy's McCarthy or JJ
JJ
McCarthy.
Healthy McCarthy. That's a good
Just to make
nickname.
sure that he's healthy completely before they even risk throwing him out there. Especially
Yeah.
if Sam Darnold's playing average ball, if not slightly better. They're going to keep rolling with him. He's going to do better than you think. I said it when we did the NFC North preview. I think he's going to finish top 16, so above average for fantasy value. We're talking here. That's how I basically rank my quarterback play. So he might not be great to the eye test, but he's going to put up some numbers. Their offense is going to be just fine. They're not going to be anything crazy. Sam Darnold's not going to go out there and win you 4 more games than your team would win normally. He'll probably win you 1, maybe 2. He's going to go as far as his team puts you. He'll be fine. Better than what you think.
You say this, and I'm thinking like, dude, it's Sam Darnold. I'm not a big fan of Sam Darnold, right? I'm kind of on that thing where it's like, dude, he was a high pick, and he just sucks all the time. I'm on that bandwagon. I'm being honest. Maybe I should hop off it, but I'm thinking right now. I'm like, he's got Justin Jefferson. He's got Jordan Addison. Sorry, he's got T.J. Hawkinson.
Well, when he comes back, he's injured right now.
That's true. He's got Alexander Madison, right?
No,
Who's
that
a
dude's
running
gone.
back?
He's on
Who's
the
the running
Ravens.
back?
You got not Delvin Cook, Aaron Jones,
Aaron Jones. Yes,
and
yes,
they got
yes.
Ty Chandler, the backup, who's
You
a
got Ty
very
Chandler.
capable backup.
He's got enough weapons to succeed.
And he's
He
got the
can.
experience and things he's learned from doing wrong that can help him do things right. He's got a better offensive coach.
He
He'll be fine.
can. He will be able to throw the ball in this offense.
He'll
There
be fine.
will be open wide receivers. I'll put it there. Will he get the ball to those open wide receivers? I don't have faith he will. He's gonna have to prove me wrong. This is a good scenario for Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
It
darn right
is.
it is.
It's a good scenario. I just don't think he's good. I don't think he will succeed.
He's gonna be fine. It's a bummer for JJ McCarthy. Like you said, you weren't a big fan of him. I'm not a huge fan of him either. Obviously, I don't want to push injury on anybody. Like I said, it's not the way I wanted Sam Darnold to win the Week 1 job. I wanted him just to prove that he was a better quarterback now. It is what it is. Hopefully, the Vikings can still make something out of it. Hopefully, JJ McCarthy comes back, competes for that job. If he is the better man, good for him. I hope he gets out there and proves a lot of the haters wrong, including me myself. Um, I'm always looking for a reason to be wrong, and not that I want to be wrong, but it's cool to see players flourish when you're not expecting it to. So
Yeah, I agree. Um, JJ McCarthy, I know he's gotten the nickname handoff merchant. I think if he was going to start in this offense, Aaron Jones, I don't know if he's really your bell cow type of back. So I don't know. I don't think he would have been able to hide behind just handing off to Aaron Jones. So he's going to actually have to sling it to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. So I think if he would have played, we would have seen the true JJ McCarthy and what he's got.
yeah, I would think he would have been given a fair shot. I don't think Kevin O'Connell is going to baby him too much in the offense. I think he's going to still require him to throw the ball like he wants him to, make the reads that everybody's saying that he can. Apparently a big thing on him was he's intelligent enough. He has a high IQ in order to read the defense, make the correct reads, and do what he needs to do. He just wasn't needed to do that much in Michigan. So I do think they'll run the ball quite a bit, especially early on in his starting career to kind of get him comfortable making throws, making reads, and then slowly work him into more passing situations as needed or they want to add.
Definitely. Um, JJ McCarthy being a rookie QB, right? I want to talk about all the other rookie QBs preseason debuts.
Here we go.
So let's go start with Caleb Williams.
Good.
What did you think about Caleb Williams' debut?
He had one great throw for sure.
That was, yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. I didn't think it was that bad. There's a lot of mixed reviews out there on Caleb Williams. Some think he's the second coming of Christ. Others think that he's a bust. I think it'd be somewhere in the middle, similar to my comp on Sam Darnold for this season, specifically this season. I think he finishes top 16 as a quarterback in fantasy play specifically. You can do power rankings, and it's some very subjective stuff. He'll finish top 16 in fantasy value just because of the amount of weapons around him. So he'll put up good numbers. He'll help them win games. What he's got to do is limit the turnovers, limit the sacks, that kind of thing. And then I think he'll be just fine for the time being and kind of learn on the fly from there.
I agree. There's one thing I want to say. It's just never overreact in the preseason for rookies. We
Not
saw it
over.
with we saw it with Jamar Chase a few years ago.
Couldn't
Jamar
catch
Chase in Jamar Chase in the preseason, he did not catch the ball. He couldn't, right? All of
Yeah.
a sudden now he's a top 5 wide receiver in the league.
Yep.
CJ Stroud last year in preseason, I think it was against the Patriots, and he threw like 3 picks.
I don't remember.
It was something he threw a lot of picks. He was terrible in the preseason. All of a sudden, come regular season, he played great, and now me and Jameson are pretty high on him. We have him. The Texans going to the Super Bowl. I have him. I think I have him winning. I think you have him losing. I
Other
think
way
that's what it
around.
was.
Other way around. I got him beating the Packers.
Oh, I have him losing to the Lions. You're right. You're right.
There you go.
Forgot about that. But so just
You trying
don't.
to backpedal on your pick there? You're trying to take mine from me?
No, no, no. Lions are winning. Lions are winning.
Oh,
I just forgot. I forgot.
all right.
Yeah, Lions are winning. I stand by that. Sam Laporta will catch 7 touchdowns in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yep. All
All
right.
right.
Sorry about that. Just a little bit of glaze. But I just want to say they might look bad in the preseason. Doesn't mean they're going to look bad in the regular season. They still could. I'm not saying they're just going to be amazing in the regular season, but just because they look bad in the preseason doesn't mean they're going to be bad in the regular season. It's NFL between college. It's an adjustment. They're two different leagues. There's NCAA. You're going against college kids.
Mm-hmm.
NFL. You're going against people that are getting paid millions of dollars to play football. I think that's
Yeah.
a big difference.
Oh, absolutely. There's a huge jump. I think everybody has realized that. You hear the interviews about all the rookies and like, wow, the game's just a faster paced. Everything is just moving
Mm-hmm.
quicker, whatnot. The one thing that did impress me, and I don't know if you saw this, was Michael Penix in his preseason debut. I don't know if you saw the highlights or watched him play at all.
I watched the highlights. I
Yeah.
didn't watch the game.
What did you think of him?
Um, I honestly just saw rookie mistakes, right? Sometimes the ball was a little overthrown. I think there was that. I think it was like the first highlight I saw. He just overthrew a guy on a deep shot and on a third down, right? It's a rookie mistake. You hit that, that's a first down. You're continuing the drive. I did think he showed flashes and he looked good. I don't think he'll start just because they paid Kirk Cousins that money.
He won't. No way.
But
I
I did like what I saw from him.
The thing I liked the most about Michael Penix's first game is how comfortable he looked in the pocket. Yeah, he missed some throws. He made some other good throws, some great ones
Mm-hmm.
actually, led some people and threw some dimes. He just looks comfortable in the pocket, and that's from just experience. He was a longtime starter in college, so he has plenty of experience with it. He sat there, he read the defense, he looked at a couple different reads, then he would check it down or he'd hit his routes. The accuracy and the timing and all that kind of stuff with the receivers, that'll come with practice. Like you said, it
It'll
was
come with time.
it's a preseason game. You can't get too excited about it. But something you can't teach is being calm under pressure. That's something that just is a natural gift or something that comes with experience, which he has. I was very impressed with that part, which a lot of people don't focus on when you're watching football, but very poised in the pocket.
Yeah, I think sometimes there's people miss the fact that these guys are people too, right? They have stuff going on in their head where they might not be all in the game, right? You might not think, hey, that quarterback took a hit 15 plays back. I'm talking regular
So,
season. I'm not talking.
so
They
affected
might
him.
taken 15 plays back. They might have taken a big hit. Now they're scared,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're not superheroes. They're people that are just really good at this sport. They still have mental. Like they still have something going on in their head. So maybe their girlfriend's cheating on them, right? That
Oh,
could affect your play, right? Maybe they slept 6 hours instead of 7 hours that night, right? I'm just saying everything is a factor when you're playing this game. Yes, they're pros. Yes, they've learned to limit that stuff. No one's perfect, right? Michael Penix
absolutely.
showing his that he's calm in the pocket, I think, is a huge step, especially in a rookie. So I completely agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean, you might not be against full blown starting defense or the pass rushers. There's always going to be that argument. Well, he wasn't going against their starting defense. I don't care. It's the fact that your first NFL snap and you're not scrambling around the pocket, getting nervous, trying to get the ball out too quick, or breaking the pocket and trying to extend the play when you don't need to, like forcing pressure upon yourself. It's little things like that it make it show his experience and kind of what to expect from him in the future. He's not going to, like you said, he's not going to start this year, so he's got plenty of time to learn all the correct reads and the correct timing on the routes and stuff like that, which I'm totally happy with. I am excited about Michael Penix's future, which is why I brought him up. I think he's going to be good, and I think he showed that. So good for him.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Michael Penix, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but I think once Kirk Cousins starts to regress, Michael Penix will come in at the age of 30 and start. Just kidding.
Yeah,
He won't actually start at probably age of 30. He'll probably be like 28, 27. But
30, whatever.
yeah, he'll come in like right at the end of his prime or prime age. His prime will be when he's like 33, just based on how old he is. But coming in at his age, I don't. Yes, I think it was a bad pick with just the age of him and having you have Kirk Cousins. But I think it was also a good pick just because how he looked. Right? It's kind of a win lose, right? You got a good player. You're not going to get him for long. That's the
Right.
only real critique I have on that pick.
Absolutely.
All right. I think it's time for some fantasy here. All right. This is my favorite part. All right.
What do you got?
So, me and Jameson have picked two players that we think will be extreme sleepers in fantasy. These guys, I bet some of you guys might not have even heard of these guys, but we think they'll either, if you're in a dynasty league, you stash them and all of a sudden they'll come in and they'll be good, or they'll just come in and be a sleeper this year. Do you want me to go first or you go first?
You want to do one? I'll do one. Bounce back and forth.
You got it. All
What do you
right.
got?
My first guy, Jared Wiley, the Kansas City Chiefs tight end. Um, what I like about this guy, he is 6'6". I think he's 250, and he's in the 99th percentile for weight to speed ratio. He's extremely fast for his weight. And when you're big, you can block. And the Chiefs, I believe I saw a stat, they are second in first down to tight end formations. So, of course, you have Travis Kelce. And then I think Jared Wiley will be that second guy. If he's getting snaps on first down, I like that for fantasy. Travis Kelce's getting a little old. Jared Wiley comes in, all of a sudden that's your wide receiver, or not wide receiver, tight end one. I like Jared Wiley, maybe not for this year, but I think he's going to start progressing. Stash him on that dynasty roster if you have a spot. Stash him on that taxi squad. I really like Jared Wiley, and I think he'd be worth a pickup in maybe a 12-man league for dynasty.
There you go. I like the pick. I talked about him early on in our divisions breakdown. Basically, the same size and speed as Travis Kelce. So he
Mm-hmm.
can learn behind a guy like that. Like you said, I think he could potentially turn into something if he sticks to it. The guy that I want to talk about is Jaleel McLaughlin, running back for the Broncos. He's currently the third/fourth running back on the depth chart, depending on how you look at it. He's a receiving back for the most part. He can obviously take some handoffs and more of an outside, smaller speed guy. Bo Nix in that offense, another guy who played exceptionally well in the preseason. You don't want to overlook or you don't want to overhype how people looked. Bo Nix performed well. He was accurate. A lot of dump downs are probably going to be taking place in this offense. Some screens, some short passes, something to make Bo Nix feel comfortable. I think Jaleel McLaughlin is that third down receiving back who gets a lot of those targets. And because of all those targets, he's going to get fantasy and PPR leagues. Someone to stash as a running back 3 to 4 on your bench in deeper leagues, like a 10-man to a 12-man league. Potentially, you can play him in the flex on a week-to-week basis. Just I got to look out for in the passing game for sure.
Definitely. My second guy, I know you guys have heard of this because we've already mentioned him. It's Jordan Travis. I kind of already explained how high I am on Jordan Travis. You put him on that roster spot, you sit him for 2 years. Maybe, nah, I wouldn't even take the chance to pick him up next year. Pick him up now, right? Pick him up now if you're in a 12-man, right? Stash him for 2 years. Everyone in your league's gonna be like, dude, what the hell are you doing? You're stupid. This is exactly what Jameson said to me when I picked up Kyrie Williams in 2021. I tried trading it. I tried trading Kyrie Williams to him for a third round pick. He declined. He's a terrible GM. That's why Jameson sucks. Yeah, yeah. Take that. Jordan Travis, sit him for 2 years. When Aaron Rodgers retires, Jordan Travis is going to be a amazing quarterback, and it's going to be one of the best waiver wire pickups. And your friends are going to go from hating on you to being like, "How did you know that?" And you're going to tell them, "Reed Frame told me."
I have two. I kind of cheated. I have two
Another reason why
Patriots.
Jameson
They're from
sucks.
this. They're from the same team, so that's why I did
Okay,
it.
okay,
Both from the Patriots. I have Demario Douglas and I have Antonio Gibson.
okay.
Gibson has bounced around the league for a little bit. He's more of a receiving back than anything. Patriots are going to need a guy to check the ball down to. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. I have a feeling they're going to be behind a lot, which is why I took a receiver and a receiving running back. Gibson's going to be similar to Jaleel McLaughlin, the guy they do the check downs to. He's going to get a lot of targets in the passing game if it's third and long or they're behind in games. They're not going to be pounding the rock with Ramondre Stevenson as much, although he can catch the ball. Demario Douglas was the slot receiver and basically the only bright spot on that offense last year towards the end of the season. He had a couple good games with quite a bit of targets. He was averaging between 5 and 8 targets a game. Problem was he just never got into the end zone. I would look for him to be in the slot for some smaller routes, shorter passing routes. So again, in PPR leagues, these two guys I think are going to get quite a few targets when they're behind in games. More of a flex option in deeper leagues. I would still probably pick him up in 10-man leagues for sure. Gibson, I'd be a little more weary on the Douglas. I'm a little higher on Douglas, but both guys that I think could perform pretty well for both.
Yeah. Since you picked a third guy, I guess I'll pick a third guy. I think I'll pick the guy none other than Malik Washington. Yeah, he's back. Malik Washington. Draft him with your first round pick, people. I'm
All
just
right.
kidding. Please
Stop
don't, all
giving no
right?
bad advice.
I'm just kidding. He might go undrafted in your guys' dynasty leagues, or he
He
probably
will.
will go. He will
And he
go
will.
undrafted in your normal fantasy leagues. Do I know if he's going to be good this year? I don't think he'll be good this year. I hope so because I love Malik Washington, but I think he's going to be another guy where you stash next year. Maybe he's going to get in the slot on that Dolphins offense. That's where he's going to be his main role. He's a slot receiver. He stands like 5'9". He's not big. He can't really play on the outside, the X or the Z. So they're going to stick him in the slot, and that's where he's going to cook. I think he's an amazing slot receiver and a great addition to the Dolphins offense. So I think he'd be worth a roster spot if you have one open.
Interesting. I don't know why you're so high, Malik Washington, dude. I don't get it.
It's just something. It was the same way I was with T. Higgins, same way I was with Jalen Waddle and George Pickens, right? And now I'm telling you this right now. I have called all of them. Jameson knows. I have this little stamp of approval where I put on a wide receiver every year. It was T. Higgins first, then it went Jalen Waddle, then George Pickens, I believe was the order, right?
You are correct.
T. Higgins, pretty bad first year. Second year, he kind of exploded. Same with Jalen Waddle, pretty bad first year. Second year, he kind of exploded. This year, I know he kind of took a step back. George Pickens, he was all right his first year. Second year, he kind of had a breakout. And then now people are pretty high on George Pickens because he's the number one wide receiver there and he's got a lot of value. So I've had kind of a track record of predicting wide receivers that you could kind of count Jalen Waddle as I predicted wrong. T. Higgins is kind of taking a step back, but they were good at least once. So I'm telling you, Malik Washington will be good at least once. All right, guys? I'm telling you, Malik Washington will have one good year. He might take a step back and just be terrible from there on out, but he will have one good year. I can guarantee it.
Fair enough,
Yeah.
Reed. He'll be good for at least once. That's all that matters.
Malik Washington. Remember the name, guys. Remember the name of Malik Washington, Dolphins wide receiver.
Fair enough, Reed.
Yeah. I think that's all we have for you guys tonight, though. Hope you
Yeah.
enjoyed this episode. I think I enjoyed it, whether it was the fantasy advice, the debating of rookie QBs, talking about where QBs rank, talking about the Cowboys and how Jerry Jones glazes Dak Prescott. Um, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, night, whenever you're watching this. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next week.